The true meaning of a rubato is not what everybody thinks free from tempo keeping. Rubato is an oscillation around the beat. It's a possible but not necessary dislocation for the pianist of a certain beat between the two hands, as well as a delay of the whole texture. In the same time, rubato means also being impatient. That doesn't mean to rush, it means to haste. It's a very subtle oscillation between keeping the beat, no matter what the texture, the melodic line, the harmonic coating, the contrapuntal resonance of layering, and the general effect that piano playing produces on an audience with the acoustics and the pedal playing, the left pedal for the softer dynamics or muffled rather dynamics, and the right foot for holding over more than what the fingers can by themselves, but to the detriment with the lifted dampers to have some resonance blur rather than precision of the sound. But all over that, what matters is how you draw literally the phrasings arching. And sometimes tiny, a hint is an exaggeration, delay of a note that you want to bring out in the statement by slightly delaying it. If it's too much, is affected. If it's not, is too strict. It's a very subtle possibility of considering ahead of the time where you will plan on the spot or ahead of time to slightly take more or less time to spread these rhythmically notated notes only because you know how you're going to rejoin and when and where exactly you will rejoin the pace, the tracks. In other words, you don't zigzag with the tempo. That's not a rubato. And then the amount of rubato is to your own discretion, just like the length of a fermata, just like the length of a last note if it's a long value, with or without fermatas sometimes. It depends if it is an attacca or not. But generally, the last note matters a bit less in public, at least, because impatient audience members might applaud. But in recording session, in pure music conception, without any noise before or after the performance, it's only the sounds themselves that break the silence and vanish in silence. And this ephemeral moment of eternity is sort of, you catch your breath and it's already gone. It remains only in the memory of your soul. And you think, oh, it's almost like a perfume. It triggers so many Imagination travels, memories, people, smiles, gazes from far away or from far in time in a split second. And it's a bit the same with the rubato. You can plan, but if it's too structured, then it's artificial or at least mechanical. And if it's too hectic and without any structural return to the pulse, then you lose the thread. And very often, if not almost every time, there is no indication for rubato or poco or meno or mezzo rubato doesn't exist. It's a concept that is added by the teacher, by the recording that you've heard, by somebody playing an aria like a bel canto aria by Bellini. I was thinking Albanese at the same time, but for a different reason. But Chopin didn't know Albanese. Chopin knew Bellini's music, and so the arias in Chopin's singing nocturnes, for instance, or preludes, or mazurkas, or etudes, or impromptus, or whichever section of piece, you can hear that there is a pianistic imitation of it. Whenever Albéniz, speaking of whom, he is a phenomenal composer because he knows how to create the combination of folk music of his country with the classical music of the tradition of the Parisian 20th century. He even injects a little bit of whole tone scales here and there, and he's very specific about his markings, specifically triple fortissimo, quadruple, not octuple, but or quintuple pianissimo. He's not into the mezzo dynamics. On the other hand, his music is colorful, flourishing, blossoming, filled with decorative, evocative elements where by the time you play all of them and keep the pace, you realize that some shiftings are scary because you might not reach. And then if you take a little time, then the rubato takes care of the dance part. In Spanish, it's canta baila. Canta is singing, baila dance, ballet. And Albanese music oscillates a lot between the dance with hemiolas or with flamenco imitation of dances from southern Spain, the Moresque influence, or the singing aria, the canto hondo, cante hondo, the complaint, the blues of Spanish music. And Chopin has a lot of this alternation also between arias and waltzes, dances, or driven elements in his sonatas. And then you have transitions, then you have secondary themes, then you have secondary voices. So there are so many reasons for which you might overindulge in rubato in order to display all of this, not less try to reach all the notes without to miss them. I'm very convinced that ultimately the rubato is a tool, not an end by itself. And if it's possible, I would daydream to hear Chopin or Albéniz play their own music and see if they really do or not rubato and how much, if at all. Would it be a gauge? Would it be a vindication, or would it be a curiosity? Would it be to say, no matter how they played it, after all, they conceived it, it's in our hands to play it the way we like it, and therefore the taste we put into it about the rubato reflects a lot about how we consider the eloquence of the statement, of the melodic line, of the harmonic cutting, of the pulse, of the basically the motion and the movement and the emotion from this movement's motion that implies suggestive singing or dancing or reflecting, praying. And when the music is not imitative but just pure music, as we call it, from its own, like a sonata with thematic materials, developments, transmissions is for cars, and modulations and original tonalities and all this and all that, we still reach a point where we imagine something somehow beyond the text, not instead of the text, not belittling the text, but as if the text is disclosing things which, when we play them, bringing it alive from the written markings, there is the room for this oscillation around the beat, the rubato, the Italian language verb for stolen, stolen beat, stolen time. Thank you.